Hello, hello. What's up, Wing Chun? How's it going? Hey, Losh. Glad you could join. What's up, Benjamin? You're third. Hey, Casey. How's it going? What's up, Hungry Ghost? Who are we eating tonight? All right. How are we doing? Oh, what? How was the first chapter last week? Started out strong, I think. They were good. Excited to see what happens next. All right. Apparently, there's something happening outside. There's like water falling from the sky. What is that? What's up, Sunnyside? How's it going? Hello. Glad you're back. First chapter was good. Yeah. Although I don't think we've met our main characters yet. These are just like side characters, I think. All right. What's up, Nikki? How's it going? That's always annoying, not starting with the main characters. I'm okay with that. I think a little build up to the main character is pretty good. All right, let's see. We were hella fast at the games last week, huh? Let's see this week, okay? Let's replicate our success. Hey! Aha! Damn it. REA. What about earful? Well, hair. Nope. Rare. Rain. Rain. Erase. Erratic. Errat. Reach. Okay. Ear search. Nope. Search. Nope. Heart. No. Lirt. Kirt. Dirt. Nert. Bert. Vert. Wort. Yurt. Gert. Like pearl. No. Knurl. Girl. Durl. Jurl. Lurl. Earl. Ural. Well, eerie. Leery. Leery? Fury. Fairy? Is lyric? Is that a word? Not a word. Well, a beard. A beard! A beard! Yeah! Okay, not bad, not bad. It's pretty common for Jin Young to start a story with someone other than the main character. Yep. Yeah, he likes to do that. You find it disorienting? you guys think is the main character? So I don't think any of the kids are the main character. Yeah, pretty sure the main characters are a couple, right? I'm kind of suspecting. We haven't met the guy main character yet, but I think the girl is that one girl who's the disciple of the evil lady, of the serpent fairy lady. We saw her for a little bit. I think that's our girl there, but we'll see. We were actually introduced to a lot of characters in the first chapter, no? All right. What's this? Whoa! Pandora's Box, Lucky Stiff, Live Music, Golden Fleece, Good Riddance, Happy Hour, Hornet's Nest, Comic Con Karaoke, American Hustle, Sayonara, Minefield, finally Can of Worms, Trivia Night, About Time. I think finally, About Time. But that's it. You opened a can of worms. You opened up Pandora's box. A minefield and a hornet's nest. That's gotta be it. Okay. If that wasn't it, I was just gonna quit. Karaoke, live music. Karaoke, live music. Trivia night. Oh, stuff at like events at a bar. Happy hour. Yeah. Comic Con. About time. Good riddance. Good riddance. Finally, about time. Sayonara. Yeah. What's this? Songs? Nope. What? Ending with synonyms for swindle. Oh, American. Hustle, con, fleece, and stiff. What? No one's gonna get that. That's impossible. Do I say sayonara? What's wrong with that? Sayonara. Archive. Buy. Good. God. Exit. Right. Nice. Great. Build. Good. Never. Great. Stiff. Stiff. Hard. Erect. Ugh. Soft. Feel. Texture. How about hardness? Diamond. Granite. Rock. Pill. Hard. Strong. Aha. Tough. Break. Strong. Free. Tall. Strong. Hone. Solid. Ooh. Foundation. Manly. Masculine. No. Feminine. Feminine. Liquid. State. State of matter. Firm. Grip. Grip. I like a strong grip. Ground. Grounded. Passable. Grip. Grab. Hold. Hug. Immovable. Object. Handle. Understand. Maintain. Pinch. Secure. Down. Nope. Grip. Ground. Grip. Smack. Attack. Electric. Anchor. Grip. A grip. Hand. Tie. Batten. Like batten down the hatches. Arr. Me mateys. Grip. Grip. What a fist. Base. Lock. Ship. Ground. Water. Mountain. Dirt. Pool. Near. Grip. Foothold. Copper. Embed. Grip. A grip. What a touch. What a punch. What a caress. Control. Mine. A touch. A ground. A lick. A bite. A kiss. Touch ground grip. A fondle. Earth. Stick. Stuck. Grip. Ground. Ground. Bunker. Hide. A grip. On the ground. Touching it. Touching the ground. Push? Okay. Same ad 3 times. This ad campaign. They really grasp. Grass. Trail. Grip. Reality. A grip, a hold, a lock. Side duck. Yeah, the ad is. I did see that. It was an ad within an ad. I don't know how that worked. Hug assembly. Money. Advertise. Oof. Grip. Ground. Do we do grounded? Move. Go. Do. Immerse. Grip. Race. Inside. Race. Run. Run. Sprint. Huh? 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 Feel. We tried. Emerge. We tried, I think. Sprint. Run. Marathon. Race. Tournament. Track. Field. Oh, track. Triathlon. Athlete. Baton. Speed run. Speed. Speed. Fast. Distance. Jump. Long. Speed. Quick. Immediate. Relay. Competition. Track. Fast. Speed. Gold. Dash. Jumped to the shot put. car, leg, fastest. Oh, fastest, speediest. Fastest is closer than fast. Finish, winner, medalist, medal, record, faster. So fastest here, faster is lower, and then fastest is higher. Goal, place, placement. Slowest. Oh, slow. Slower. Wah! Crawl. Motion. Slow. Slow. Yes. Loser. Turtle. Disqualified. Slower. Standing? Stand? Steady? How about middle? How about average? Moderate. Second. Xanax. Relax. We did push. Relax. Stop. Pace. Ah! So good. Job, Nikki. Fastest, slow. Does this make sense? Fast. Faster is down here, then fastest is up here. And slow, and then slower. Pace. Pacing. All right, good job. That's pretty fast. 8 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. That deserves this thing. It's like some strawberry thing. Yeah. How about that? All right. Yeah. Oh, did you get it last time too? Well, better get it next time. Oh, some balls. I hope they are filled. Maybe they're filled with strawberry filling. Read the hiragana. Oh, it's too hard. It's ichigo, aika, ein, ein. Then there's katakana. It's ichigo, ein. All right, I bet this has filling. It does. Strawberry filling. Why does it taste so bad? Yeah. It's bad strawberry. And the balls themselves are just have a bad texture. Like it's moist, but it's too moist. It's so moist that it kind of sticks together. Yeah. And there's a weird smell too. And the strawberry doesn't taste very good. Okay. It's gonna have to be a 4.9 for me. Yeah, that's not good. Ah, damn it, I need to finish it. I got 2 more balls to go. It could be better out of 10. Yeah. Oh, it's a 10 out of 10 on the stick to your teeth scale. All right. All right, ready? What happened last week? What's been the lowest score? What was the lowest score? Did we do a 3? I'm sure we did a 3 before. Have we done a 2 or a 1? Is something with banana? A 3 point something? Yeah, have we done a 2 or a 1? I don't think I've ever had a something that low. A 1 would be like, I don't know, inedible. So for me to score at a 1, be like, oh, I can't finish it. Yeah. Just gotta throw up. Yeah. That'd be like if it had mold on it. That's the 1. Yeah. Might taste alright, but has mold. So that's a 1. 1.1. Durian. I mean, durian, like, in food is not bad. Like, I've had durian ice cream before. It's not bad. So not even a banana is worse than a 3? Just a banana by itself? A durian banana? Hmm. What is a banana? A banana would be... a banana. Yeah, the problem with the banana is not only the smell, it has the texture of the banana texture. So I think a banana would have to be like a 2. Yeah. Banana with the smell of durian. Oof. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, maybe that's something I can't finish. The outer peel of a kiwi? Wait, is that edible? What does that taste like? Sounds disgusting. Bananas are people too? They're not. We allow hate on bananas on this stream. Make the outside taste better and be crunchy. What if it's like outside is like it's like chocolate and peanuts, but inside is banana. Banana durian. Kiwi skin is thin, you barely notice it. Wait, so Nikki, you eat kiwi with the skin on? A lot of fiber, I guess. Kiwi peel just tastes like anything? It's just a texture? Really? What do you mean tastes like anything? I feel like it would taste like wood. I mean chocolate, chocolate peanut outside, banana inside. I would raise it up to what, a 3 instead of a 2? Probably. It's thin like apple skin. It does it taste like apple skin? Yeah. It looks like wood, so I never had it. Deep fried tarantula. Disgusting. You never eat bugs? You probably ate a bunch of bugs when you're sleeping, right? I've had bugs before. I think uh I think once I was riding a bicycle and like some bug fell into my mouth. Yeah, I bit on it. I was like, "Ah, bug!" And I swallowed it. It wasn't that big. I don't think it was a fly. It was smaller than that. But it had that bug smell, that bug fragrance, if you know what I mean. Those of you who've eaten bug before, you know what I mean. Mm. You've had cricket? How's that? Sometimes small flies get stuck on your lip gloss. Yeah, me too. Mm. Get stuck on my makeup too. All right. All right. What are we doing? All right. What happened last week? So last week, we're introduced to two young girls. The names were Cheng Ying and Lu Shuang. They meet this old man who seems kind of a little crazy. The old man demands them tell him where this woman He Yuan Jin is. They don't know, but he says that the woman left him for this guy who happens to be the uncle of one of the girls. Okay, that Lu Shuang girl. So they take him to the grave of her uncle and his wife, and his wife, which is the woman who left that old man. And the old man sees the grave and he cries and he digs her grave up so he can see her face one last time. Okay, the girls see this and they run away. Lu Wushuang tells her father about it, but her father's dealing with another issue. Apparently, someone put 9 bloody handprints on the wall of their house. And these are supposedly the marks of the Scarlet Serpent Fairy, okay? Li Mo Cho. She's like a ruthless Taoist lady. Yeah, so they see the handprints, and then a traveler arrives with her 2 boys. Okay, she's Madame Wu, and turns out that the old man is her husband, Wu Santong. Just then, Li Mo Cho's disciple, this young Taoist girl, arrives, but Madame Wu drives her off, and Madame Wu then reveals the truth, okay? And she tells this tangled web of romance, okay? And the dead couple is like in the middle of this web. So, Madame Wu's husband, the old guy, was the dead woman's adoptive father, okay? But as his daughter grew up, he developed feelings for her, okay? But he couldn't do anything because that's kind of weird. But then when she grew up, she fell in love with another man, okay, which made him mad. And that Scarlet Serpent Fairy, Li Mo Cho, when she was young, she also fell in love with the other man too, okay? So when this couple got married, both Li Mo Cho and Wu Santong, they got mad and they tried to ruin their wedding. However, a monk intervened and he made them swear not to harm the couple for 10 years. Okay. So the couple lived for 10 years. And now after 10 years, it's been 10 years. Wu Santong sought out the couple. He's kind of already obsessed and half mad. And then Li Mo Cho has also returned. However, the couple has died. Okay, the man died from illness, and that same night, his wife took her life. So now Li Mo Cho wants to kill everyone related to the couple. Then Wu Santong arrives and snatches his two sons, and he runs away. He leaves one son behind to come back for later, and that son meets Guo Fu, the daughter of Guo Jing and Hong Rong. Okay, and he also meets Ku Jian-e, the leader of the Seven Freaks. They're one freak now. And we get to see how Guo Fu is like. So Guo Fu seems pretty spoiled. Seems like a brat. Now Guo Jing and Hong Rong, they're looking for Huang Yaoxi and Hong Qigong because they seem to have disappeared. Okay, so in the search for them. Ku Jian-e hears that the boy's family is in danger, and he goes to the Liu household. When he arrives, he sees that Li Mo Cho is fighting with the Liu couple and Madame Wu. She wounds the Liu couple, then she spares everyone else because they're not related to her vengeance. And then she also burns down the couple's home. Yeah, that's where we left off. How's that? You forgot the adoptive dad drama? Yeah. Okay. We're reading just half a chapter today, okay? Chapter 2, Son of an Old Friend. Madame Wu stood there, not knowing what to do. When she suddenly heard her husband shouting, she was startled, both glad and angry. This madman, who knows what he's been up to? Only now he appears, she thought. Then she saw him rushing toward her, his upper garments torn to shreds, the bib that He Yuanjun had used as a child still hanging around his neck. This guy is obsessed with his stepdaughter. Breathless, he cried out, Wife, are you all right? She had not seen her husband show such concern for her in nearly 10 years, and joy welled up inside her. I'm here, she called. Without another word, Wu Santong lunged forward, scooped up the Liu couple, one in each arm, and shouted, Quick, come with me! As soon as he spoke, he vaulted into the air. Ku Jian-e and Madame Wu followed close behind. Remember, this Wu Santong guy was one of the disciples of, was it Master Yiding? The Southern Emperor. Wu Santong zigzagged east and west, running several li before leading them into the ruins of an old kiln. It was a large pottery kiln, once used for firing wine jars. When Madame Wu entered the cavern-like kiln and saw that the two Liu boys, Dundru and Xiuwen, were safe and unharmed, she finally breathed in relief. The Wu brothers were sitting on the ground, playing with stones alongside Cheng Ying and Liu Shuang. When the girls saw the battered and wounded Liu couple, they threw themselves upon them, crying and calling out through tears. Ku Jian-e heard Liu Shuang crying for her father and mother, and suddenly remembered what Li Mo Cho had said. He cried out, shocked. Oh no! We've brought the ghost to our very door. That witch will be right behind us. Madame Wu, still trembling from the battle just past, hastily asked, What do you mean? Kujano said, That demoness came to harm the Lu children, but didn't know where they were. Madame Wu instantly understood and exclaimed, Yes, she purposely spared us, only to follow us in secret. Wu Santong roared in fury. That red serpent hag haunts us without end. Let me deal with her, he shouted, and with that he strode into the mouth of the kiln, ready to fight. Lu Liding's skull had been shattered, yet a final concern still weighed on his mind. So I guess the Lu couple are still alive. It seemed like they died in the last chapter. Forcing his breath, he said weakly to Cheng Ying, Yinger, take the handkerchief in my chest. Take it out. Cheng Ying wiped her tears and reached into his robe, retrieving an embroidered silk handkerchief. It was of white satin with a red flower embroidered on each corner. The blossoms were crimson, as if about to drip, each petal framed by a green leaf of luminous sheen. Though the white satin had yellowed with age, the flowers and leaves remained fresh and lifelike, as though they were real. Lu Liding said, Yinger, tie this kerchief around your neck and never take it off. Do you understand? Cheng Ying did not know his intent, but since it was her uncle's dying order, she accepted it and nodded obediently. Madame Lu, half delirious from pain, heard her husband's voice and opened her eyes. Why not give it to Shuang-er? Give it to Shuang-er, she said faintly. Lu Liding replied, No. How can I betray the trust her parents placed in me? Madame Lu gasped. You're so cruel. You care nothing for your own daughter? Her eyes rolled back, her voice hoarse and fading. Lu Wushuang did not understand what her parents were arguing about, and only wailed, Mother! Father! Lu Liding said softly, My dear, you love Shuang-er, so wouldn't it be better if she followed us together? Wait. Don't kill her. The red-flowered, green-leaved handkerchief had once been the token of love Li Mocho gave to Lu Jianyuan. The red flowers were mandala blossoms, famed in the Dali kingdom. Li Mocho likened them to herself. The word Lu, green, echoed the sound of Lu. We don't see the actual character, huh? Representing her beloved. Together, red flower and green leaf, a symbol of inseparable devotion. When Lu Jianyuan lay dying, he foresaw that when 10 years had passed, both Mocho and Wu Santong would surely return seeking trouble. He had prepared for that day, but an unexpected illness took him before he could act. His brother's martial skills were ordinary. When the confrontation came, resistance would be in vain. Thus, he entrusted the handkerchief to his brother, explaining clearly, if Wu Santong came seeking vengeance, they might escape if possible. If forced to fight, though they would lose, their lives might be spared. But if Li Mocho herself appeared, her cruelty now known throughout the martial world, then death was certain. In dire peril, the one in danger was to wrap the handkerchief around their neck, hoping the witch would recall her old affection and show a moment's mercy. Proud by nature, however, Lu Liding had never been willing to take out the kerchief to beg for his life from that woman. Cheng Ying was the daughter of Lu Liding's sworn brother. Her parents, before their death, had entrusted her to his care. Feeling that responsibility yet unfulfilled, and mortal danger upon them all, he handed her that life-saving token. Madame Lu, a mother to the bone, saw her husband giving the keepsake not to her own child, but to another's, but he promised. Agonized and anxious, her grief and pain overwhelmed her, and she fainted, dead away. Wait, did she die? Or did she just faint? Seeing her aunt distraught over the handkerchief, Cheng Ying quickly handed it to her cousin and said, "Aunt said it's for you. Take it." Lu Liding barked, "Shunger, it belongs to your cousin. Don't take it." Madame Wu sensed something unusual and said, "Why don't I tear it in half? Each of you can have one piece. Would that be all right?" Oh, is this like our daggers? The first book had 2 daggers. This one has 2 pieces of the handkerchief. Lu Liding tried to protest, but his breath failed him, and he could no longer speak. He could only nod. Madame Wu then tore the handkerchief in 2, giving 1/2 each to Cheng Ying and Lu Wushuang. Standing guard at the mouth of the kiln, Wu Santong heard the crying and shouting behind him. Unsure of what was happening, he turned around and was startled to see that his wife's left cheek had turned pitch black, while her right face remained normal. Pointing in shock, he asked, What happened to your face?" Madame Wu reached up to touch it. "What do you mean?" she said, though as her fingers brushed the left side of her face, she felt only numbness, without any sensation. A chill gripped her heart. She remembered Li Mo Cho had brushed her cheek with her hand before leaving. Oh shit. Could it be that the soft, fragrant touch of that delicate palm had already carried deadly poison? How are they sure this is going to work? Maybe it'll anger Li Mo Cho even more? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, what if it causes her to kill them? Wu Santong was about to ask more when a voice from outside the kiln laughed lightly. "Ha ha ha! Those 2 little girls are here, aren't they? Dead or alive, throw them out to me. Otherwise, I'll set this place ablaze and turn you all into wine jars." She loves setting things ablaze, doesn't she? Her tone was like silver bells, sweet and gentle. Wu Santong leapt out of the kiln at once and saw Li Mo Cho standing gracefully before him. He couldn't help but be taken aback. 10 years, and she hasn't aged a day? Still as lovely as ever? Okay, this Wu Santong guy. A little sus, my man. At their first meeting during Lu Zhenyuan's wedding feast, Li Mo Cho had been about 20. Now at 30, the woman before him still looked just as delicate as then, except that she now wore a Taoist robe. The whisk in her hand swayed lightly as she looked around with a faintly languid grace. Her eyes shimmered with charm. Her cheeks glowed with a soft blush. Had one not known she was a ruthless murderess, I like that word, murderess, one would surely have taken her for some wealthy young lady turned nun. Wu Santong saw her raise her whisk and suddenly remembered that his weapon was still back in the kiln. If he re-entered to fetch it, she would have the chance to rush inside and harm the children. Spotting a chestnut tree as thick as a bowl near the cave mouth, he placed both palms against it, and, with a shout, struck it in 2. Li Mo Cho smiled faintly. "Impressive strength," she said. Wu Santong gripped the tree trunk across his chest and replied, "Miss Li, 10 years gone. You're well, I see." He had always addressed her as Miss Li, and though she had become a Taoist nun, he saw no reason to change. In the 10 years since renouncing the world, no one had called her Miss Li. At the sound of those words, something stirred within her. Memories of youthful tenderness and sweetness suddenly flooded her mind. But just as quickly came the thought of how, in that same youth, she could have lived her days beside the man she loved, until another woman, He Yuanjun, appeared, ruining her pride and leaving her doomed to solitude forever. At that, the brief softness in her heart turned to burning resentment and venomous hate. Wu Santong, too, had been spurned by the one he loved. Though his pain was of a different kind, he could still be said to share her sorrow. Yet he could never forget the horror of that day after the wedding banquet, when he saw with his own eyes how she had slaughtered the entire family of old He, the boxer, more than 20 souls, young and old alike, all for no reason save madness. Okay. Doesn't seem like a good person. Li Mocho had never even met old He before, nor had He Yuanjun any relation to that family. Yet, because they shared the same surname, He, she had annihilated them in cold blood. Oh, wait, not even related. None of the He's knew, even in death, why their house had been destroyed. At that time, not understanding the cause, Wu Santong had not intervened. Only afterward did he learn she had done it purely to vent her spite and heartbreak. From then on, he feared and despised her in equal measure. Now, seeing a fleeting gentleness pass across her face, only to turn instantly into a mocking smile, he felt his heart tighten with dread for the two young girls hiding in the kiln. Li Mocho said coolly, "Since I've marked 9 handprints on the Lu family wall, these 2 little girls must die. Master Wu, please step aside." Wu Santong replied, "Lu Jianyuan and his wife are already gone. His brother and sister-in-law, too, have fallen to your poison. They were but 2 small girls. Let them live, I beg you." Li Mocho smiled and shook her head gently. In a soft voice, she said, "Master Wu, please, step aside." Wu Santong tightened his grip on the chestnut tree trunk. "Miss Li," he shouted, "your heart is far too cruel. Ah Yuan." The moment those 2 syllables left his mouth, Li Mocho's face changed color. "I swore a deadly oath," she said coldly, "that whoever utters that vile woman's name before me, either they die or I do. Once on the Yuan River, I destroyed 36 trading boats in a single day, all because their signboards bore that despised word. Have you heard of that, Master Wu? You've brought this upon yourself. Blame no one else." As she finished speaking, her whisk snapped up and struck down toward the top of his head. Small though that whisk was, her stroke was swift and fierce. It sent Wu Santong's hair flying wildly about his head. She knew he was a top disciple of Reverend Yideng. Though slow-witted, his skills were formidable. So from the start, she aimed to kill. Wu Santong thrust out with his left arm, swinging the tree trunk in a wild arc. Seeing the blows' deadly power, Li Mocho's figure floated aside with the wind. Before the swing's momentum was spent, she darted forward again to strike at his face. Wu Santong saw her close in and quickly raised his right hand, extending a finger toward her forehead. A move, a yi-yang finger thrust, was not fast, but its changes were subtle beyond prediction, hard to evade or block. Li Mocho countered with a move called Reversal of the Golden Bell, her body flipping away with a glide of more than a yard's distance. Wu Santong saw her weave in and out, advancing and retreating in a blur, and couldn't help but feel inward admiration. Focusing his strength, he swung the tree trunk faster and faster, forcing her to stay more than a yard away. But whenever the slightest opening appeared, Li Mocho slipped in like lightning. Were it not for his Yi-Yang fingers' power, he would have fallen already. Still, the tree trunks' weight began to tell, his movements slow, while Li Mocho pressed ever closer. Suddenly, a flicker of yellow shadow. She had leapt onto the very tip of the trunk in his hands, her whisk flashing as she struck down from midair. Startled, Wu Santong reversed his grip and smashed the tree trunk to the ground. Li Mocho laughed blithely, the sound rippling like silk, and ran along the trunk toward him. Wu Santong turned his body and pointed sharply once more. She twisted her slender waist, retreating to the far end of the branch. For dozens of exchanges, no matter how he swung, jabbed, or smashed, she clung to the tree as if glued to it, using its motion to advance or retreat fluidly, striking at every chance. Now Wu Santong's strength waned further. Though her weight was light, the added burden strained his arms, and she, standing upon the trunk he wielded, could attack at will, while he could not strike her directly. Thus she held the clear upper hand. Seeing himself being driven back, Wu Santong realized that one lapse would cost not only his own life, but that of everyone in the kiln behind him. Summoning all his might, he spun the trunk faster and faster, in hopes of flinging her off. They fought another few moments, when suddenly, from behind, Kujanu bellowed, "Fuer! You're here! Quick! Tell the eagles to tear that wicked woman apart!" Hope she doesn't kill the eagles. A girl's voice shouted orders in reply, and in the next instant, two great white shadows plummeted from the sky, two giant eagles, one on either side, swooping at Li Mo Cho. It was Guo Fu, arriving with her twin eagles. Li Mo Cho saw the ferocity of their attack and flipped over, hanging head downward from beneath the chestnut trunk, her left foot hooked around it. The twin eagles missed their strike and soared upward again. The girl whistled rapidly a few times, and they dove once more, 4 iron talons slashing at the base of the tree. Li Mocho had heard tales of the couple from Peach Blossom Island, Guojing and Huangrong, and of the mighty, intelligent eagles they raised. As she faced the pair now, the birds themselves didn't worry her much. What alarmed her was the possibility that their masters might be nearby. If Guojing and Huangrong were close, that would be truly troublesome. After several dodges, she flicked her whisk sharply, snap, and struck the she-eagle's left wing. Oh no! The bird screeched in pain as long white feathers fluttered down through the air. Guo Fu cried out, "Don't be afraid, eagles! Bite that evil woman!" Li Mocho looked at the girl, a face fair as snow, features delicate as if painted, and something stirred in her heart. They say Lady Guo is the most beautiful heroine of her time. How would she compare to me, I wonder? Could this little girl be her daughter? A slight thought crossed Li Mocho's mind, and her hand hesitated for an instant. Though the twin eagles had joined the fight, Wu Santong still could not overcome her, and was growing anxious. Suddenly, he gathered all his strength, heaving both arms upward and hurling her, tree and all, high into the air. Li Mocho had never imagined he would use such a move. Before she could react, she was sent flying several zhang into the sky. The two great eagles saw her rise and immediately flapped up to peck at her. Had she been standing firm on the ground, the eagles could not have troubled her. But in midair, without footing or leverage, how could she fight creatures of flight? In her alarm, she swung her whisk to shield her face, her sleeve flicking out 3 soul-freezing silver needles in quick succession. 2 shot toward the eagles, the third straight at Wu Santong's chest. The eagles beat their wings and soared upward to evade, yet the needles flew so swiftly they whistled as they passed. One brushed beneath the male eagle's talon, slitting the skin. Oh no! Wu Santong was looking up when a flash of silver streaked toward him. He dropped and rolled across the ground, but still one needle struck his left calf. He sprang up, only to find the leg no longer obeyed his will. His left knee gave way as if made of wax. Forcing his internal energy to circulate, he tried to hold his stance, but numbness had already spread through both legs. He collapsed forward, braced himself with both hands a few times, and lay motionless. Guofu cried out, "Eagles, eagles, come back!" But the twin birds, frightened, had fled far away and did not turn. Li Mocho smiled faintly. "Little girl, your surname is Guo, isn't it?" Seeing her fair face and gentle smile, Guofu thought that this woman hardly seemed the evil demon others spoke of. "Yes, my surname's Guo," she said innocently. "What's yours?" Li Mocho's smile deepened. "Come, I'll take you to play." She stepped forward, reaching to take the girl's hand. Kuzhenu thrust his iron staff before her and sprang out from the kiln. Blocking Guofu, he shouted, "Fuer, back inside, quickly!" Li Mocho laughed lightly. "Do you fear I'll eat her?" At that very moment, a ragged young boy came hopping along, a rooster dangling from his left hand, singing a coarse folk tune. He bounded toward them and called, "Hey, what are you people doing at my house?" Seeing the group before the kiln, he cocked his head at Li Mocho and Guofu, then broke into a grin. "A great beauty, so fine, and a little beauty, so dainty. You two girls came looking for me, eh? But a fellow surnamed Young doesn't often have such lovely visitors." His mischievous smile and slippery tone oozed insolence. Who could this be? All right. Good time for a break. I'll be right back. 5 minutes.
无夫无君无法纪，为非作歹有天比。修得大手接佛力，邪风一时也就起。哪知不测其祸，其旦夕，那黄毛孽畜再回击。平凡不是好得意，不幸后事却成谜。雪花风洒花雨，无助那毛树拆一去。长白生死莫讲理，不抢走那正道才有戏。普天之下，父子君臣纲纪，伦常规矩天理。哪个说了才算，哪个放任不管？你瞧那鼠辈都讲人情，可怎么就落得个子王府逃死不寒？好一个心狠手辣的破来后，可怜那书鬼好久的父子。 一介的富士指望有收视里程，老大我右手头空虚情。挺厉害，偏偏破门敲不开。身逢奇数比日月，三位妙法掌三海。要想见那黄毛书经，必须要得幸福口令。一个不够凑一双。不是也得上，今天即使全屋里大手天棚招呼起，枪刀剑剑慌不必，时候是你不是你。且慢走，且慢走，再走怕你眼无疼。无事有莫强求，方便法门归结从。旁人以为稀罕我，做到旁门不入了。
And we're back. That was catchy. All right, let's see who this fellow is. Surnamed Young. Guofu pouted in anger. You little beggar. Who came looking for you? The boy laughed. If you weren't looking for me, what are you doing at my house then? He pointed to the kiln. So this filthy place was indeed his home. Guofu snorted. Who'd ever want to come to such a dirty place? Madame Wu, seeing her husband collapsed and not knowing if he lived or died, was beside herself with fear. She rushed from the kiln, knelt to him, and cried, Third brother, what's wrong with you? Wu Santong groaned faintly. His back twitched a few times, but he still could not rise. Guofu strained to spot her eagles, but they were nowhere in sight. Eagles! Eagles! She called desperately. Come back! Li Mo Chou thought, the longer this drags on, the worse it'll be. If Guo Jing and Huang Rong arrive, I'll gain nothing but trouble. She smiled faintly and strode straight toward the kiln. Madame Wu leapt up to bar her way, sword in hand. You stay out, she shouted. Li Mo Chou laughed. Ha ha ha. This is that young fellow's residence. Since when is it yours to command? Her left palm pressed straight toward the blade. Just before contact, her hand turned slightly. 3 fingers slid along the flat of the sword and pushed. The edge spun around, slicing back toward Madame Wu's forehead. With a hiss, the tip split her brow. Pardon my rudeness, Li Mo Chou said sweetly. She slipped her whisk into her collar, bent forward, and entered the kiln. In one effortless motion, she seized Cheng Ying and Lu Wushuang, one in each hand, and, without even turning around, tapped her left foot to the ground and vaulted out again. In the chaos, she even lashed a foot backward, kicking Ku Jianuz's iron staff out of his grip. The ragged youth, seeing her wound Madame Wu and seize the 2 girls, bristled with indignation. Hearing their cries of alarm, he leaped forward and lunged at Li Mo Chou, shouting, Hey, big beauty! You barge into my home, hurt people, and snatch my guests. Without even greeting the host? That's too much. Put them down right now. Li Mocho held a girl in each hand, unprepared for the boy suddenly stepping forward and wrapping his arms around her. She felt a pair of arms appear beneath her ribs and was startled. In that instant, her whole body turned weak. At once, she sent a light pulse of energy through her palms, flicking the two girls several feet away, then grabbed the boy firmly by the back. Since the age of 10, she had never allowed her skin to touch a man's. Even now, at 30, she remained a maiden. In the past, though she had pined bitterly after Lu Jianyuan, she had always restrained herself by the bonds of propriety. Many men in the martial world had been enamored of her beauty, but those who showed even a trace of lust in their eyes met swift death under her scarlet serpent divine palm. Yet today, this youth had actually embraced her. When she seized him, her first thought was to channel her energy through her palm and shatter his heart then and there. But then she recalled how he had earlier praised her looks, his tone sincere and guileless. Usually, such words from a grown man would only fill her with disgust. Coming from this boy of 13 or 14, however, they stirred a flicker of joy. Her heart softened. Against her will, she could not bring herself to strike. Suddenly, a pair of sharp cries split the sky. The two giant eagles were returning, diving straight at her. Li Mocho flicked her left sleeve, sending two icy silver needles hurtling upward. The birds had suffered from this deadly weapon before, and quickly beat their wings to rise. But the needles were unimaginably swift. Though the eagles fled fast, the silver streaks flew faster still, making the birds shriek in terror. Just as Li Mocho was about to celebrate their inevitable demise, a whoosh cut through the air. Two tiny objects sped toward them. There was barely a sound before the two projectiles streaked across the heavens and knocked both needles from the sky. The force behind those shots was overwhelming. Li Mocho was startled and instantly dropped the boy. Leaping forward to investigate, she found only two ordinary pebbles. The person who threw these stones must possess unfathomable skill, she thought. I am no match for them. Better to retreat first. Her body shifted with her thought, and her palm lashed out toward Cheng Ying's back. She meant to injure both girls before deciding her next move. She sees their kerchief. Just as her hand was about to touch Cheng Ying, she caught sight of a silk kerchief tied around the girl's neck. Upon that pale satin were embroidered red blossoms and green leaves. It was the very scarf she herself had painstakingly stitched and given to the man she once loved. Her hand froze in midair, and the power in her palm instantly dissipated. It worked. In a heartbeat, long-buried feelings of tenderness and longing churned through her heart. So, she thought, even though he married that little slut surnamed He, he never truly forgot me. He kept the kerchief carefully all this time. Should I spare the descendants of the man who betrayed me, or not? Unable to decide, she turned her wrath upon Lu Wushuang instead. The duster quivered. Its silver threads whipped toward Lu Wushuang's back. But under the dazzling sunlight, she saw that around that girl's neck hung another kerchief just like the first. Eh? Li Mocho exclaimed. How can there be two? One of them must be false. She changed the direction of the duster, looping it around Lu Wushuang's neck, pulling her sharply to face her. At that very instant, another stone whizzed through the air straight at Li Mocho's back. She swung her duster, steel handle striking the stone head on. A sharp pain seared through her palm. Heat flooded her wrist, and her whole body trembled involuntarily. Such force from a mere pebble! The skill of its thrower was beyond imagining. Daring no further delay, she grabbed Lu Wushuang, used her lightness skill, and sped away like a storm wind, vanishing from sight within moments. Cheng Ying saw her cousin seized and cried out, "Cousin! Cousin!" then gave chase, but Li Mocho's speed was unmatched. How could Cheng Ying ever hope to catch her? In the waterlogged lands of Jiangnan, rivers and canals crisscrossed the countryside. After running for a while, Cheng Ying found her way blocked by a small river. Unable to continue, she ran along the bank, calling anxiously. Suddenly, from a small bridge to her left, a yellow blur flashed. Someone was crossing swiftly from the opposite side. Stunned, she halted, only to find Li Mocho standing before her again, Lu Wushuang nowhere in sight. Trembling, Cheng Ying gathered her courage and asked, "Where is my cousin?" Li Mocho regarded her fair, delicate face and said coldly, "With looks like yours, when you grow up, you'll either break someone else's heart or your own. You might as well die young and spare the world some grieving." With that, she lifted her duster and swept it downward at Cheng Ying's head, intending to smash her from crown to chest into a bloody ruin. As Li Mocho's duster swung behind her, about to smash downward, she suddenly felt a sharp tug. The tassel was caught by something. No matter how she pulled, it wouldn't budge. Startled, she tried to turn, but before she could move of her own will, her body was yanked off the ground by a tremendous force. She soared backward more than 10 feet before landing again. This shock was unlike any she had ever known. Raising her left palm to guard her chest, she channeled inner energy into the duster and thrust it forward. Yet the space before her was empty. Nothing. In all her years and hundreds of battles, never had she encountered such a bizarre circumstance. A thought flashed through her mind like lightning. A demon? A ghost? With a swift move called Primordial Circle, she spun the duster around her, forming a glowing ring that protected a radius of 5 feet on every side. Only then did she dare turn. There stood beside Cheng Ying a tall, gaunt man in a green robe. His face was stiff and expressionless, neither alive nor dead, his appearance unsettlingly like that of a corpse. So many characters. The sight filled Li Mocho with a disgust so sharp she involuntarily took 2 steps back. In all the martial world, she could think of no powerful figure who looked so strange. She was about to speak when the man lowered his head to Cheng Ying and said in a dull voice, "Child, this woman is fierce and wicked. Go and hit her." "How could I dare?" Cheng Ying said, tilting her head upward. "What are you afraid of? Just strike her," he replied. Still, Cheng Ying dared not move. The man suddenly grabbed her by the back of her collar and flung her straight at Li Mocho. Li Mocho was so unsettled by this encounter that she dared not act as usual. She guessed a swing of her duster would serve her poorly, so instead she reached out with her left hand to catch the girl. Just as her fingers neared Cheng Ying's waist, there came a faint hiss. A shock ran through her elbow. Her arm went limp, refusing to lift. Cheng Ying crashed straight into her chest, then, almost without thinking, swung her hand up and struck Li Mocho sharply across the face. Is this Huang Yaoxi? Is it? Never in her life had Li Mocho suffered such humiliation. Blazing with fury, she lost all restraint. She reversed her duster and brought it down savagely, only to feel a violent tremor through her grip. The handle almost flew from her hand. Another pebble had struck it, flicked from the fingers of that same eerie man. Meanwhile, Cheng Ying had landed steadily upon the ground. Realizing she would gain no advantage to this day, Li Mocho knew that lingering further might endanger her life. She gave a soft laugh, turned, and started away. After a few swift steps, she flicked both sleeves backward, a glitter of silver flashing as more than a dozen ice soul silver needles shot toward the man in green. Without turning back, without even glancing over her shoulder, she loosed each needle precisely aimed at his vital points. The man had not expected such cruel and deadly skill. Startled, he sprang backward. Though the silver needles flew fast, his retreat was faster still. There came a tinkling of light metallic notes as they all clattered harmlessly to the ground. Li Mo Cho had never expected to hit him. The salvo was only to force him back. The instant she heard the rush of his movement, she flicked her sleeve once more. One last needle darted toward Cheng Ying. She knew this shot could not miss, and fearing the green-robed man might interfere, did not even look back. Power surged through her soles. She sped across the bridge and vanished into the mulberry grove. The green-robed man gave a cry of "Ah!" and rushed forward to catch Cheng Ying. A long silver needle was embedded in her shoulder. Oh shit. Her expression darkened. After a moment's thought, he lifted her in his arms and hurried westward. Kujanu and the rest, seeing Li Mo Cho flee with Lu Wushuang, were all shaken. The shabby-looking boy said, "I'll go take a look." "What's there to see?" Guo Fu snorted. "That wicked woman would kill you with a single kick." The boy laughed. "You'd kick me to death." "I don't think so." Wait, what? And without further word, he darted off in pursuit along Li Mo Cho's trail. "Idiot! I wasn't talking about me kicking you," Guo Fu called after him, never realizing that in the boy's sly retort, he had actually called her the wicked woman. No. That's kind of clunky. I think there's something up with the translation. The boy ran for a time until he heard, faint in the distance, Cheng Ying crying out, "Cousin! Cousin!" and immediately followed the sound. After several dozen yards, judging by the voice, he must have reached the place where she had called, but the two girls were nowhere in sight. He turned his head and saw on the ground a scatter of gleaming silver needles, each one carved with fine patterns, wrought with exquisite craftsmanship. He crouched and picked them up one by one, holding them in his left palm. Beside one needle lay a massive centipede, belly up and lifeless. Curious, he bent down for a closer look and noticed many dead ants upon the earth, while a few paces away others still crawled about. Taking one of the needles, he prodded a handful of ants. They circled about a few times, then rolled onto their backs and froze stiff. He tested several other small insects. Every single one perished the same way. The boy was delighted, thinking how perfect these silver needles would be for catching flies and mosquitoes. Suddenly, his left hand tingled and felt strangely numb. Oh, God. Startled, he realized, "The needles are poisoned! Holding them! What if the poison seeps in?" He quickly opened his hand and flung the needles away, only to see that both his palms had turned completely black, his left hand dark as ink. Oh, shit. Li Mo Cho's martial arts seems quite costly. Yeah, she threw those needles away. Those exquisite needles. Fear gripped him. He rubbed hard against his thigh, but the numbness in his left arm kept crawling upward. Within moments, it reached his elbow. As a child, he had once been bitten by a venomous snake and nearly died. The same dead, tingling sensation had spread from the bite. Knowing the danger, he couldn't help but burst into tears. Suddenly, a voice rasped behind him. "Little brat, now you know how powerful that poison is, eh?" The sound was harsh and metallic, as though it rose from underground. Ah, who's this? Who is this? I'm going to say, This sounds like Oh Young Feng. Is it? Is it? The boy whirled around and gasped. A man was standing on his head, literally, with his head planted in the ground, legs held straight upward toward the sky. All right. Is he going to be a big part of the story? The boy stumbled back a few paces and shouted, Who are you? The man pressed his hands against the ground, vaulted up, and dropped lightly before the boy, saying, Who am I? As long as I know who I am, that's enough. The boy's terror deepened, and he turned and bolted. Behind him came a rapid thump, 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 echoing clearly. When he risked a glance back, horror seized him. This man walked on his hands, holding a stone in each palm, his body upside down, yet moving with incredible speed, already just a few feet behind. Depends on what I mean, what I consider a big part to be. So he's the most powerful person in the world now, right? That we know of. He's just a little crazy. Panicked, the boy sprinted harder, but with a soft whoosh, the man bounded over his head and dropped squarely in front of him. The boy cried out, Mother! And turned to flee another way. But wherever he ran, the strange man flipped into the air again and landed before him. The boy had 2 strong legs, yet could not outrun this upside-down walker. Exhausted, drenched in sweat, despairing, he raised an arm to push the man away. Only the arm no longer obeyed him. His legs gave way, and he slumped to the ground. The upside-down man said, The more you thrash about, the faster the poison spreads. Suddenly, struck by clarity, the boy knelt and cried, Please, elder, save my life. The man shook his head. Hard to save, hard to save. You're so powerful. You surely know how, the boy said quickly. The flattery pleased the strange man. His stiff face cracked into a faint smile. And how do you know I'm powerful? Sensing a chance, the boy said, You can run upside down faster than anyone upright. There's no one in the world quite like you. He spoke only to please, but the words, no one in the world quite like you, struck the man perfectly. The fellow burst out laughing, his voice booming through the treetops. Ha 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 ha. Turn yourself upside down, and let me take a look at you. The boy thought, That's fair. He's upside down, standing straight. I can't meet his eyes properly. So he bent over, placed his head on the ground, and propped himself up with both hands. His right arm still had some feeling, and he planted it firmly for support. He's pretty good. He can do a handstand just like that. The strange man studied him closely for a while, frowning in thought. Is that fair? You know what? That's fair in this world. Now that the boy was inverted, he could see the man's face clearly at last. High nose, deep-set eyes, and a short white beard, stiff as wire. The man muttered in a low voice, mumbling harsh, guttural phrases in some strange tongue. Fearing the man might yet refuse him aid, the boy pleaded, Kind grandpa, please save me. The man, finding the boy's features handsome and full of spirit, said, Very well. Saving you isn't difficult, but you must agree to one condition. The boy said eagerly, Whatever you say, I'll do it. Grandpa, what is it you want me to promise? The man grinned, baring yellow teeth. That's exactly what I wanted. To make you promise. Whatever I say, you must heed me. The boy hesitated, thinking, Whatever he says? What if he tells me to act like a dog and eat filth? Must I obey even then? Seeing his hesitation, the man shouted angrily, Fine! Then die as you please! He pulled his hands inward, thrust them out again, and his body shot into the air, landing several feet away. Afraid the man might leave, the boy struggled to follow, but since he couldn't walk on his hands like the other, he flipped upright and ran a few steps, pleading, "Grandpa, I agree. Whatever you say, I'll obey you." The man turned back. "Good. Then swear a heavy oath." By now, the numbness in the boy's left arm had crept up to his shoulder, his fear mounting. He could only swear, "If Grandpa saves my life and removes this poison from my body, I'll always obey your words. If I ever disobey, let the poison return to me again." He thought privately, "I'll never touch another of those silver needles. How could the poison come back? But will this lunatic believe me?" When he glanced up, he saw a look of satisfaction spread across the man's face. The boy rejoiced inwardly. "The old weirdo believes me." The man nodded, flipped upright in one motion, and gripping the boy's arm with both hands, kneaded it a few times. "Good, good. You're a clever child." At his touch, the numbness in the boy's arm began to ease at once. "Grandpa, do that again," he cried in relief. "Don't call me Grandpa," the man scowled. "Call me Daddy." Oh, Yang Feng. What is this with the story and creepy old men? "My father's been dead for years. I don't have a father," said the boy. The man barked. "So, the first thing I tell you, and you already disobey? What use do I have for such a son?" The boy thought, so he wants to adopt me as his son. He had never seen his own father's face. His mother had told him his father died before he was born. Since childhood, he had envied other boys who had a father's affection. But seeing how mad and erratic this man seemed, he couldn't honestly bring himself to call him father. The man shouted again. "You won't call me father? Fine. Others beg to call me that, and I won't even allow it." The boy began racking his brains for a way to... His brains? He has multiple? For a way to trick him into finishing the treatment. Just then, the man muttered a stream of strange, guttural syllables. It sounded like incantations, and abruptly strode off. "Father! Father! Where are you going?" the boy cried. The man burst out laughing. "Good boy. Come, I'll teach you how to expel the poison from your body." Okay. I think we're good. What do you guys think? How did you guys like that? Okay. So that's Ouyang Feng, obviously. And then this boy is Young something. We're not halfway yet? Wait. Oh, you're right, we're not. I can keep on going. I thought there were 28 pages. Turns out there are 38. Wow. Big. Yang Guo. Yang Guo. Alright. The man burst out laughing. Wait. The boy hurried close. The man said, "You've been struck by the ice soul silver needle poison of that girl Li Mo Cho. It's no easy thing to cure." He then taught him a formula and a method of breathing. The trick was to reverse the... Oh no! Wait. Oh no! He's gonna teach him the same thing. Okay, that's interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. So the trick was to reverse the flow of energy, head below, feet above, so that blood and breath ran backward, forcing the venom out the same way it entered. Yet, since he was new to the practice, he could purge only a little each day. It would take over a month to cleanse the toxin completely. Maybe this is just to expel the poison, and it's not like he's teaching him the martial arts technique. The boy was quick-witted and grasped the method at once. He practiced as instructed, and indeed the numbness lessened slightly. After a while, a few drops of black fluid oozed from the tips of his fingers. Excellent, the man said joyfully. Enough for today. Tomorrow I'll teach you something new. Let's go. Startled, the boy asked, Go? Where to? You're my son, the man said. Where your father goes, his son naturally follows. Wow, it worked. As he spoke, several piercing cries sounded in the air. 2 enormous eagles swept overhead. The man gazed up at them in shock, struck his palm against his forehead, and frowned deeply as if forcing some memory to surface. Suddenly his expression changed completely. I don't want to see them. I mustn't see them. He took a single stride, his step incredibly long, and before the second step, his body was already a dozen feet away. 10 or so such leaps, and he vanished behind the mulberry grove. Father! Father! The boy shouted, racing after him. He rounded a large willow tree when a fierce gust swept past his head. The 2 giant eagles had swooped low from behind and landed up ahead. A man and a woman emerged from behind the willow grove, each with one of the eagles perched upon their shoulder. Oh, who could this be? The man was around 30, thick-browed and broad-shouldered, a short mustache above his lip. I'm not sure if I like the mustache look. The woman looked about 26 or 27, her face lovely and refined, her eyes bright and lively. She studied the boy for a moment, then said to her companion, Whom does he remind you of? The man gazed fixedly at the youth for a long while, and replied, You think he looks like... He uttered only those few words, and did not finish the sentence. These 2 were none other than Guo Jing and his wife, Huang Rong. Yay! That day, the couple had been at a tea house, inquiring after news of Huang Yaoxi. Then, when in the distance they saw fierce flames leaping into the sky, moments later, word spread through the streets. The Lu Manor is on fire. Huang Rong's heart clenched. She recalled that Lu Chenyuan, master of the Jiaxing Lu Manor, was a renowned figure in the martial world. Though she had never met him, she had long admired his name. Among pugilists, people spoke often of the 2 Lu Manors of Jiangnan. There were indeed countless families surnamed Lu in Jiangnan, yet these 2 referred specifically to the Lu Manor by Lake Tai and the one in Jiaxing. That Lu Jianyuan could be mentioned alongside Lu Chengfeng was proof enough of his standing. Benjamin, yep. This is Return of the Condor Heroes. When they asked again, they confirmed that the fire indeed raged at Lu Jianyuan's home. The couple set off at once. By the time they arrived, the flames had subsided somewhat, but the manor had become a sea of burning wreckage. Amid the charred ruins lay several corpses burnt entirely black, their faces no longer recognizable. There's something strange about this, said Huang Rong. How so? Asked Guo Jing. Lu Chenyuan is a man of reputation in the martial world. His wife, He Yuanjun, is also a famed heroine. In an ordinary fire, how could no one escape alive? This must be the work of an enemy. Huang Rong reasoned. Guo Jing nodded. You're right. Let's search the grounds, see who did this, and why they struck so viciously. The two circled the manor, finding no clues. Then Huang Rong pointed to the half-collapsed wall and cried, Look, what's that? Guo Jing looked up to see several bloody handprints upon the wall, darkened and sinister beneath the smoke. In the wreckage below, 2 prints had been torn in half when the wall caved. Guo Jing's face changed. The Scarlet Serpent Fairy, he blurted. It must be her, said Huang Rong. I've heard that Li Mo Cho, the Scarlet Serpent Fairy, wields immense power and a venomous heart, every bit as cruel as the Western venom of old. Now that she's come to Jiangnan, we should take the chance to face her. Guo Jing nodded. Our friends in the martial world all say that this woman is difficult to deal with. If only we could find father-in-law, that would be a great help. Huang Rong smiled. You grow older and more cautious by the year. It's true, Guo Jing said. The more deeply one trains in martial arts, the better he knows his own limits. Ah, but Master Guo is far too modest, she teased. As for me, the more I practice, the more amazing I become. They laughed lightly, though inwardly both were on guard. Searching the area carefully, they soon found 2 ice soul silver needles beside a pond. One had its tip submerged, and in the water dozens of goldfish floated belly up. Truly, the poison on such a weapon was dreadful. Huang Rong stuck out her tongue, and using 2 short branches, picked up the needles. Wrapping them securely in a handkerchief, she tucked them into her robe. The pair searched farther afield, and that was when they saw the 2 giant eagles and met the strange young boy. Guo Jing thought the boy's face oddly familiar, though he couldn't place where he'd seen him. Just then an awful stench reached his nose. He sniffed, and a wave of dizziness followed. Huang Rong had already caught the odor. Searching for the source, she spotted a torn wound on the male eagle's left leg. When she drew closer, the smell proved to come from that very spot. Oh no, save the eagle. The 2 were startled. Though the wound itself was little more than a scrape, the leg had swollen to twice its size. The flesh around it was rotting away. What injury could do such harm? Guo Jing wondered. Then, glancing at the boy's left hand, he exclaimed, You've been poisoned by this too? Huang Rong seized his hand to look closer, then quickly rolled up his sleeve and sliced a shallow cut at his wrist, pressing out the blood. Yet the blood that flowed was bright red, untainted. Puzzled, his hand was blackened through. How could the blood appear clean? She did not know that the boy had already learned to drive the poison down to his fingertips, halting its progress. From her pouch, she drew a pearl-like pill. Chew this and swallow, she told him. The boy caught a whiff of its delicate fragrance, then chewed it. Sweetness spread through his mouth, and a cooling current sank down to his core. Huang Rong fed 2 more of the same to the giant eagles. Guo Jing stood silently for a time, eyes intent, and then suddenly lifted his head and gave a long, piercing whistle. The unexpected sound made the boy jump. The whistle echoed far into the distance, sending flocks of birds fluttering in alarm and shaking the drooping willow branches all around. Before that call faded, a second whistle rose to meet it, then another, merging upon another, resounding and overlapping like the thunder of 1,000 galloping hooves rolling far across the sky. Huang Rong knew that her husband had issued a challenge to Li Mo Cho with his whistling call. Hearing the 3rd resonant note, she gathered her breath at her dantian and answered with a long, clear whistle of her own. Guo Jing's call was grand and mighty, while Huang Rong's was bright and piercing. Their whistles intertwined like a great rock flying beside a small bird. both soaring higher and higher, yet the little bird never lagged behind. Having cultivated their inner strength diligently on Peach Blossom Island, their chi had reached the realm of mastery. When the two called in unison, their sound truly seemed to circle through the 9 heavens, carrying for miles around. The strange man walking backward quickened his pace at the sound, making off swiftly to avoid them. The green-robed man carrying Cheng Ying heard the whistles, laughed aloud, and said, "Ha, ha, ha. So they've come too. I'd best get farther away before their chatter reaches me." That's Huang Yaoshi, no? Li Mocho was racing swiftly with Lu Wushuang under her arm when the sound reached her. She halted abruptly, swung her dust whisk, turned, and sneered coldly. "So Hero Guo, famed throughout the martial world, has come. Let's see whether he truly has the skills his name proclaims." Then came another whistle, clear and resonant, rising to echo the first. The two calls reinforced each other, combining strength and grace, their power magnified. Li Mocho's heart sank. She knew she could not match them. Thinking of that husband and wife who roamed the realm in companionship, supporting each other, she felt an emptiness pierce her chest. A weary sigh escaped her lips as she clutched Lu Wushuang's collar and departed. By now, Madame Wu was helping her husband, bringing their 2 sons along as they took leave of Ku Zhen. The old man had battled fiercely moments before and worried that Li Mocho might return to harm Guo Fu. Taking the girl by the hand, she sought a hiding place, when suddenly the double whistle of Guo Jing and Huang Rong reached his ears, filling him with joy. Guo Fu cried out, "Mother, father, mother," and ran off at once. The elder and the child followed the sound until they found the couple. Guo Fu threw herself into Huang Rong's arms, laughing. "Mama, Grandpa Ke just drove off a wicked woman. His kung fu really is amazing." Huang Rong, of course, knew the little girl was fibbing, but only smiled. Guo Jing scolded. "Children must speak honestly." Guo Fu stuck out her tongue and said with a giggle, "Isn't Grandpa Ke amazing? How else could he be your master?" Fearing another rebuke, she scampered off and called to the young boy, "Go pick some flowers. Make me a garland to wear." This girl. The boy followed her. Guo Fu noticed that his hands were black as soot and said, "Your hands are filthy. I'm not playing with you. You'll make the flowers stink too." The boy said coolly, "Who wants to play with you?" and strode away. Guo Jing called out, "Little brother, don't rush off. The poison in your body hasn't fully cleared yet. If it flares up, it'll be dangerous." The boy hated nothing more than being looked down upon. Guo Fu's words had already stung him deeply. Chin raised, he walked straight ahead, pretending not to hear. Guo Jing hurried after him. "How were you poisoned? We can help you heal before you go." The boy snapped, "I don't even know you. What's it to you?" He quickened his pace, trying to slip past Guo Jing's side. Seeing the sullen look on the child's face, and a certain familiar cast in his brows and eyes, Guo Jing's heart stirred. "Little brother," he asked, "what is your surname?" Yeah, what is it? The boy shot him a glare, turned sideways, and tried to dash past. Guo Jing flipped his palm and caught the boy's wrist. The child struggled fiercely, but couldn't break free. His left fist shot out, striking Guo Jing hard in the abdomen. Guo Jing only smiled slightly, not the least perturbed. The boy tried to withdraw his arm for another blow, but his fist seemed to sink deep into that iron-hard belly and wouldn't come free. His small face flushed scarlet. As he pulled with all his might, pain shot up his arm, yet that invisible suction held firm. Guo Jing said with a grin, Tell me your surname, and I'll let you go. The boy answered, My surname is Ni. My name is Lao Zi. Now let me go. Guo Jing, hearing this, felt a pang of disappointment as he relaxed his stomach muscles, unaware that the boy had actually said, Your father, mocking him. Freed, the boy glared at Guo Jing and thought, Your skill may be great, but your father can't beat your good little boy. Seeing the sly, lazy look on the boy's face, Huang Rong could not shake the feeling that he greatly resembled a certain someone, unable to resist testing him further. She smiled and said, Little brother, if you want to be my husband's father, wouldn't that make you my father-in-law? With a flick of her left hand, she pressed lightly on the back of his neck. The boy felt an immense force bearing down, and hurriedly gathered his strength in resistance. Huang Rong then withdrew her power without warning, and he fell backward helplessly, landing flat on his back. Guo Jing clapped her hands and burst into laughter. Enraged, the boy sprang up, retreated a few steps, and was about to curse when Huang Rong stepped forward swiftly, seized his shoulders, and stared into his eyes. Her voice came slow and clear. Your surname is Yang. Your given name Guo. Your mother's surname is Mu, isn't it? That's a good place to stop, no? I said Guo Jing instead of Guo Fu. Okay. All right. How did you guys like that? That's pretty cool. Okay, so Yang Guo must be one of our leads, right? He's the male lead. We're still not sure who the female lead is. Our heroes have finally returned. Yay! You can see a little bit of his father in Yang Guo, no? Yeah. But you know what? He's gonna redeem his father's memory, okay? He's gonna be a good guy in this book. What if Guo Fu turns into a bad guy? Oh ho ho! What if she's the enemy? Maybe the ghouls will finally fulfill the marriage plan. You think they're gonna marry Guo Fu and Yang Guo? I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna be how it goes. I don't think Guo Fu is the female lead. I think it's someone else. It would be too much like the previous book, I think. Yeah. All right. That was fun. I liked it. Story's going well so far, I think. We see Ouyang Feng, huh? Still a little crazy. Oh man, what if he teaches Yang Guo his martial arts? I want to see what happens. That should be pretty interesting. So, if it happens. Met a few old friends, yeah. And maybe Hong Yaoshi. That looks like Hong Yaoshi, no? Wearing green. He does his flicking of the rocks. Maybe we'll get a hero with fucked up martial arts. Maybe he'll just suck. Or like sometimes he's good and sometimes he's bad. They just have like moments of genius and then moments of pure stupidity. That would be good. That'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be like every time he fights is like a A random chance. You're tossing a dice. I think that would be a cool concept. All right. Well, that was fun. Excited for the next chapter. I want to see more of Oh Young Feng. Yeah. What if they meet? If only Hong Qigong was here to see the ultimate payoff to his prank. Well, we should see him this book, right? They're not just gonna just have him like go off doing his own thing some other place. He's got to show up in this book. So I hope when he shows up, he sees Oh Young Feng. You want to see Zhou Botong too? Yeah, maybe he's married now. All right. Well, that was fun. Excited for next time. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. All right. I love you. And I will see you next time. All right. Bye.